Ray McKeever to lead us in a word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity once more to be able to gather here, both in the chamber and online, to take part in these meetings. We thank you for the technology that allows us to do that, and we thank you for those involved in setting these meetings up for us. We especially thank those that have prepared the reports for us that enable us to look at the different aspects and different items we have on the agenda. We ask for your guidance, Lord, that as we go through this agenda, that we come to decisions that are to the benefit of the majority we are here to represent, and also that we look for ways to better our position and the decisions that we make. We are grateful for our staff, Lord. We thank you for all of them, from the Badaloos to Barrahead, everybody in between. We ask you to be with them as they often have to make difficult decisions, and we ask you to protect them from the bad press that they sometimes receive while they're carrying out these difficult decisions that they have to make. Lord, we ask you to be with those that are mourning at this time, and we especially think of our colleague, Councillor McNeil, in his difficult situation, Lord. We ask you that you be with that family and that you carry them and comfort them and protect them, Lord, after the loss of an amiable and intelligent young man taken too soon. We think of our Roman Catholic friends, Lord, as they mourn the loss of a very humble, wonderful Pope Francis, and we ask that you be with those that have to deliberate as to who will take his place, and we ask that they come up with somebody equally humble and with the same fantastic record that Pope Francis had. We think of all those that are unwell at this time as well, Lord. We especially think of my own colleagues, Mr. Crichton and Mr. McLean, as they are recovering from different situations that they found themselves in. We thank you for the health service that has been able to address their situations. We think of everybody that are unwell at this time, be it mental or physical, and give them strength to fight back and to return to good health. We think of our children, Lord, and we ask that they look to you in the days of their youth, before the dark days of evil and temptation draws nigh. We also thank for those that are taking part in these meetings for the last time, Lord. Some have retired and some are going to pastures new, and we ask you to be with them, Lord. And we don't know ourselves, this might be our own last meetings here, for we know not what tomorrow may bring. As the psalmist says, we are here but for a moment. We are just like the grass that grows in the fields. And over it the wind doth pass, and it away is gone. And of the place where once it was, it shall no more be known. So we are asked to make our election sure while we still can. Help us to look to you, Lord, for the guidance and for comfort and the assurance that only you can give, Lord. Be with us as we carry on with this meeting here, Lord, one of the most important meetings of the series, Lord. We ask you to be with the chair and vice chair and those presiding over the proceedings. So we ask all these things, and in the forgiveness of our many sins, in your wonderful and glorious name. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor McKeever. And just before we begin the formal business of the meeting, could I just, as we heard in prayer, express our condolences as a committee to Councillor McNeil on the loss and tragic loss of his son. No parent expects to see a child depart this life before they do themselves, and it's a trying time for the family, and I would like to record it on your behalf as a committee, our condolences to Mr. McNeil. I'd also like to express, as I mentioned at the last meeting, Chrissy McCauley has left the establishment, now retired. Some of you will know that Chrissy has sadly taken quite unwell since she retired, and well, just before she retired. Thankfully, Chrissy's improving slightly. My colleagues were down seeing her yesterday in audit, and she is showing signs of improvement, but still quite unwell. So we wish her the best wishes and a speedy recovery. And the same as we heard from Councillor McKeever in prayer, Councillor McLean, who's also a member of this committee, who's recovering from surgery, we wish him a speedy recovery also, as all other people that are suffering at this time in the council. On a good note though, I'm glad to report that we have been able to fill Chrissy's role, and we have Maura Richardson, who hasn't quite joined the audit team yet, but she has gladly come to see how proceedings go, and she's sitting with my colleagues in audit today. So Maura's there in the centre between Eric and Sandy. So welcome, Maura. I hope we don't put you off from today's meeting, and good to have you in the team. Thank you very much. So now the formal proceedings of the meeting. You all know the preamble beforehand, so I won't need to go through that again regarding microphones, etc. So it's just the first item on the agenda is the minute of the meeting of the 6th of February 2025, and that's for approval. Agreed. Thank you. The second item on the agenda today is the declaration of interest. Members are asked to declare any interest they have in any items on the agenda. It would be helpful if members have expressed why they are declaring an interest in the item concerned. Members in the chamber, please do so now by pressing your microphone on or remotely through Teams by using the raise hand function. I'm not seeing any declarations in the chamber or online. No, okay, thank you. Item 3 on our agenda, service improvement. This is a BVAR action plan. This report by the Chief Executive provides a progress update on the best value action plan presented to Audit and Scrutiny Committee in December 2022. And Norma Skinner is available to speak to the report and answer any questions. Skinner.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is a further update since the action plan was developed in 2022, as you said. 7 of these actions are now complete, with the final 2 progressing well. This action is already on Interplan, which means that it gets quarterly reported through the progress reports. So it's suggested in the recommendations that further updates on it, because it's near completion, further updates will be through the business plan quarterly updates.
Thank you, Ms. Skinner. Any members got any questions? Councillor Gordon Murray.
Hey, thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for the report. I've got a few questions. We'll just say the questions, Chair, and then we'll just give all the questions at the same time.
I think if you take the questions together. No?
Okay.
Or, yeah. You got a lot of questions. How many you got, Gordon? Just take the 3 together and normally take a note and answer them one by one. Okay.
I wanted to ask, what's the time frame for completing the new intranet web page for the project templates? I want to ask, how's CORLA monitoring training completion rates, and are there any measures in place to address non-compliance? And the last question I had was the report highlights the need for clearer communication of CORLA policies. So how will the CORLA ensure that employees are fully informed, and what metrics will be used to assess improved employee engagement by October 2025?
Okay, thank you, Councillor Murray. Norma.
Thank you very much for that. The time frame for the capital documents being put onto the website, I would suggest would be by June. I think that would be a reasonable time frame. The training completion rates, we do monitor completion rates, and we report on that. Non-compliance with training, sorry, can I just double check which action is that under? Which progress area is that under?
Yes, Murray.
Is it qualities training?
Bear with me. I think it's for most training.
Yes.
For all training.
Yes. Sorry, I am seeing where it is.
I was going to ask how is it monitored, and
Yeah.
if you're reporting it, do you report it to this committee or
Yeah.
do you? Oh, sorry.
Yes, what we've done is we've made some of these training courses mandatory on Interplan. Sorry, not on Interplan, on LearnPro. And there we do an annual report to this committee on learning. So that we'll be reporting through that. Communications with employees. We have started up the employee forum and as well as the JCC, and we also had the employee survey completed at December time last year, and the report on that went up to PNR yesterday.
Thank you. That's very happy with that. Yep. Thank you. Do members agree the recommendation of 3.1 then? Agreed. Thank you. Item 4 on the agenda, Best Value Public Performance Reporting for 23-24. This report by the Chief Executive provides an overview of the Comhairle's public performance reporting duty of best value for the 23-24 period as per the Publication of Information, Standards of Performance Direction 2021. And again, Norma Skinner is available to speak to this report and answer any questions. Norma?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is a report that sets out our statutory duties on reporting and just highlighting that our statutory duties were met. The BVAR report led to improvements in performance reporting. We've got reports are now available on the Comhairle's web pages, and that therefore reduces the duplication of all the reporting coming here. You'll see it paragraph 7 to 9.6 details the reports published by the organisational development team as part of our public performance reporting. And at paragraph 8, there's all the local reports in terms of service business plan, quarterly reporting and annual accounts. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Before that, I'd ask the Chief Executive to come in.
Just to add very briefly, Chair, thank you. I do commend this report to members, particularly the links within it. It's a very good reference to not just our strategies, which you're already aware of, but the performance against these, the KPIs, but also the general performance of the Comhairle in itself and compared to other authorities, so that there's useful material here. It's a good summary report, particularly the links of all that information, should you wish it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that, Chief Executive. Members, got any questions for Mr. Gordon-Murray?
Just one question, one observation. I know that the 2022 Best Value Assurance report, there was a bit of criticism on overly operational details, and I wonder if you feel that there's been a bit of refinement in the service plans so that it's more accessible to elected members, members of the public, and how do you think that's gone? And I know that there's seems to be 41% of them off track at the moment.
Chief Executive, do you want to?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this is the area where we're still trying to find the golden mean, as Councillor Murray notes. Last time, the targets were said to be too operational. In the previous Best Value report, they were said to be too strategic and not focused enough. So obviously, there's a middle ground somewhere that we have to find. They have been refined, but Ms. Skinner's the person to give the detail on that. But we do seem to be, we're either too strategic or too operational, and there must be somewhere to please everybody within.
Norma, do you want to come in?
Yeah, one of the things that we did was we tried to reduce the duplication. Yeah. One of the things that they had highlighted was that the information coming to yourselves was also being published on the website, was also available. So it was kind of been doubly reported. So that's why the report has been done like this, which then just provides the links to the website, so you're not getting overwhelmed with endless amounts of information. I think our public performance report we've refined over the years, and I think that report really does provide good information, and it's accessible information. We use a lot of kind of you know, it's not as wordy as it used to be. You know, it used to be like 20+ pages of detail, and we're using a lot more icons and things like that now too, and graphics to try and provide the information. But there is a lot of information available on our website. You know, like if you look through from the LGBF data, if you're looking at complaints, our consultations, inequalities information, etc., there is a lot of information there available for the public.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Mr. Murray, you want to come back?
When I was looking at this originally, when the report came out, and I just noticed, obviously, the Comhairle has a commitment to community planning under the Community Empowerment Act, but it seems that there was no participation requests were received in 23-24, and just to ask how the Comhairle are proactively engaging communities.
Chief Executive.
On participation requests specifically, these are not frequently used throughout Scotland. I mean, there were a means provided by the 2015 Act for, as it says, formal requests for participation. I think if you're doing good community planning and you're doing good community empowerment, you should be already participating with those who might make the requests. And I'm pleased actually that there's not many coming through, because that suggests there aren't groups that feel excluded. Community planning, though, depends on the effort of those round the community planning table, and it doesn't just happen. So I'll speak, and I have observations about that as you know, as a member of the CPP, that really the participation levels are not equal among the partners, but that this is a question about us and community empowerment. I think we have and are recognised to have a very good set of measures for community empowerment. The area forums, formal or informal, support for the community councils, your own efforts as elected members directly with lots of community groups, the leaders' pilgrimage, if I can put it that way, around all the electoral wards. We are very close to the community. The risk of that, of course, is complacency and not doing things formally, and people in areas then fall through the net. But the structures are there, and area forums, formal or informal, cover the whole of the Western Isles. Community councils cover most of the area of the Western Isles, and this chamber, of course, covers the whole area. I could go on. I mean, there are reports like this. There are the press releases. There are the other means of direct information. But I'm always pleased when the audit, and the last best value audit was no exception, does pick up a lot of positives about community empowerment. I'll leave it there, Chair, but Ms Skinner might have information to add now.
No, it's nodding your head. No, and I must say the area forums are working. We found in our own ward in Lochs that we've actually got 3 area forums now, and they're fully engaged with the whole community, and they do get involved with council and with all business from community council right through the whole chain, even the assistance of grant funding and whatever. So it is successful. You want to come back, Councillor Murray?
Well, just a comment. Thanks for that response. I suppose we should really be aiming for no participation requests, as you know, the community feel that they're participating and getting, you know, engaged enough. So that's good to know.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you for that. Any other members? No. Members agree the recommendation of 3.1. Thank you. Item 5 on your agenda, Performance Project Transformation Plan. Again, a report by the Chief Executive, which provides a progress update for the Performance Transformation Project. And again, Norma Skinner is available to speak to this report and answer any questions. Skinner.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, this was also discussed at Policy and Resources yesterday. This is really the early stage. This is setting out the stage 1 aspects of the report. So highlighting that we've pulled together the objectives, the project team, the governance, and we've considered areas such as risk and the stakeholders and consultation. We've held some initial meetings and have made some decisions on the data that we're going to pull together to inform our planning. We'll come back to you at the June series of meetings with stage 2, which will have some updates on our analysis with the data. Just to highlight, we are working at the moment on piloting some specific areas so that we can refine how we're looking at this before we go out to some of the other services. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Norma. No members. Councillor Murray again.
I think these are really important documents. so,
Absolutely. Yeah, they are.
I think what I read, Chair, is that I think 39% of the LGBF KPIs are on track, only 39%. So I wanted to ask, how will we ensure that the strategy's key actions, such as housing and job creation, are prioritised to support our communities, and what specific milestones are set for 25-26 to measure progress?
Norma. Yeah.
I think that is for the services, and also I suppose for the service committees to be looking at what priorities they want to look at within the LGBF. You know, it's one of those things. There's a lot of information within, and there's a lot of information gathering within the LGBF. So it's really about tying that down to what's of most relevance to ourselves, because some of it has more relevance than others, because they're set nationally. But I think also the services do set themselves very often quite ambitious milestones and quite ambitious targets. And that can mean that although there's some progress, it might still show red because it's not quite where it was. Or we also have to look at where we're benchmarking and how we're benchmarking. So I think there's a lot of that information that we really want to be looking at within this project, to make sure that there's consistency of messaging of what we're saying about services, about looking at how we're presenting the services. Are we providing the information that really is meaningful, that tells the story, that really kind of sets out the issues for the service, etc. So.
Thank you, Norma. Councillor Murray.
Thank you for that response, and I appreciate each service area would look at their own remits. Who would holistically monitor that in terms of, you know, the KPIs as a whole? Thanks.
Norma.
Well, our service within organisational development, we pull it all together through, because all of these are in interplan, and we pull together a lot of that information. A lot of what's been measured as well, you'll see, is in the corporate strategy. So we do reports on the corporate strategy performance as well. All of that information is reported in the quarterly business plans. And also you've also got the project performance updates biannually from each of the services into the relevant service committee. But this is one of the things that we're looking at with the project, is what information are we gathering, and can there be consistency of messaging across all the services, given obviously that there has to be slight differences because the services are, you know, there is a large variety of services across the Comhairle.
Thank you, Norma. I'll ask the Chief Executive maybe to comment.
Thanks. Not very much to add, Chair, to that, but just to point out that when you set ambitious targets, as we have, and rightly so, some of the solutions are not entirely at our hand. That's not an excuse for not measuring our own performance, but the delivery of the outcome is not always at our own hands. There are some too, and it must be said, you know, I wish we didn't have to try and measure ourselves for cost per primary school pupil, the target being the Scottish average. We will never, ever achieve that in the month of Sundays because of our rurality, because of our small schools. We will always be in the top 3 with Orkney and Shetland for cost per pupil, and that is a fact. It doesn't mean you can't be efficient within that, but we will always be in the red zone for targets like that. So it's important to remember that as well.
Thank you, Chief Executive. Any other members? No. Reports for member could be the recommendation of 3.1 then. Yeah, thank you. Moving on now to item 6, we're into internal audit matters now. This report by the Chief Internal Auditor summarised the internal audit activity within the Comhairle for the period covering 1st April 24 to 2nd April 25. The activity has been based on the approved strategic audit plan for the 3 years to 31st March 2026 and the approved operational internal audit plan for 24-25. And Mr. Gomez is available to speak and to the report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Just the normal progress report. You'll see that there's two reviews outstanding from 23-24. This is just due to resources and some effects of the cyber attack as well, but we'll hopefully try and fit these in where we can. There's a slight typo in that it says there's 7 follow-up reports, but then there's only 6 listed. There is only 6 follow-ups, but they form part of the agenda. And the appendix is the usual snapshot of where we were as at the start of April. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Members agree to note the report. Thank you. Item 7, Internal Audit Operational Plan 25-26. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor seeks approval of the Internal Audit Operational Plan covering period 25-26. And again, Mr. Gomez will speak to this report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, this is our operational plan for 25-26. It also includes 3 of the reviews which we previously deferred at a previous meeting, so we've included these. In the appendix, you'll see that there's the list of all the reviews and kind of a high-level scope of what we expect it to be. I'm happy to take any questions on it.
Thank you, Sandy. I'll just let your light on, Sandy. I think we have a few reports coming anyway. So, members agree the recommendation at section 3.1 of the report. Good. Item 8, Internal Audit Key Documentation Update. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor seeks agreement for the Internal Audit Charter and Internal Audit Manual. And Mr. Gomez is going to speak to the report again and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. We're obliged to submit the Internal Audit Charter for approval at the start of each year. The audit standards, however, have changed from public sector internal audit standards to global internal audit standards as at the 1st of April. So the charter this year has been created using the model template as provided by the global internal audit standards. The content is largely similar, just it's mainly reference changes and slight layout differences. So that's for approval. The internal audit manual is there for noting. We're not required to produce this, however, it's in line with best practice, so we continue to do this. References to the global internal audit standards have been changed in here as well, but we may make further changes as time goes on just to tweak this as the new standards take effect.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Members, any questions? No. Agree the recommendation of section 3.1. Thank you. 9 on the agenda, Global Internal Audit Standards Update. Again, a report by the Chief Internal Auditor, which provides an update on the introduction of the new Global Internal Audit Standards as stated to the February committee meeting. And Mr. Gomez again will speak to this report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, as I just mentioned, the standards are changing as of the 1st of April. This just gives a brief overview of some of the changes. We're expected to comply with these standards. We'll do so as we did with the public sector internal audit standards. Any future updates or changes that we make, or if there are any significant departures that become apparent, we'll bring these to the committee's attention as and when we can.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Members, no questions? No. Members agree to note the report then? Thank you. We move on now to item number 10. We're into follow-up reports from internal audit. The first one is climate change. And again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on climate change, which was issued on 4th of July 2024. The follow-up review was undertaken in accordance with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. And I've asked Mr. Gomez, as I have with all the other follow-up reports, where there's been a date change, where we've caught up basically with some of the action plans for fulfilment to give us a verbal update of where we are on all the follow-up reports that we have. So, Mr. Gomez, you to speak to this report.
Yeah, there's nothing really much to add. There was 3 recommendations in the original report. All have been implemented, so we're happy with the progress here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Members, need to note the report then. Not see any questions. Yeah, thank you. The next one is commissioning partnership services. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on social work services, commissioning partnership services, which was issued on 28th May 2024. The follow-up review is undertaken in accordance with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. And again, Mr. Gomez will speak to this report. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, there's 3 recommendations on this one also. One has been fully implemented. There's work ongoing in the other 2. Obviously, the department is stretched at the moment with everything that's going on. The dates for the other 2 are shown there. They were showing us April 25 and May 25. So we'll continue to follow up just to make sure that these have been now fully implemented.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Members, any questions? No. We agree the route? No. Yes, sorry. Oh, Councillor Staffhouse in.
Thanks very much. Just a quick question on the other 2 actions that are amber. It's obviously it says that all external organizations to have signed the agreement. So why is it amber? Is it signed or not signed? I mean,
It's just that it's taken a bit of time to get the service level agreements in place and get them signed. They get updated as they go along. So it's something they were working on. We've just continue to watch it.
Just to be signed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to have signed copies.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, with that, the members agreed to note the report. Okay. We're now on to item 12, cyber attack response. This report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on the cyber attack response, which was issued on 23rd October 2024. The follow-up review was undertaken in accordance with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. And again, Mr. Gomez is available to speak to the report. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. 3 of the recommendations now fully implemented. As previously stated, the majority of these are quite time-consuming and technical recommendations to implement, and we'll continue to monitor them and bring them to every series of the committee as requested.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Any members with any questions? Councillor Gordon-Murray.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think Mr. Gomez has answered the first question I was asking about there's only 3 out of 10 of the recommendations being fully implemented, but I wanted to ask about the insufficient progress on securing funding for additional IT security measures. So it's how do you think the COLA will prioritise, the budget allocations amidst quite financial restraints? I know that seems to be a report going up to the CMT. And my second question was, I think there was a recommendation to maintain separate corporate and schools IT networks to minimise, future cyber attack impacts. And this is only partly implemented. So how will the COLA ensure that this is going to be, the separation is going to be fully implemented to protect the services?
2 questions there, Mr. Gomez.
Actually, on the first one relating to the insufficient progress, it was insufficient progress on the last follow-up that we did. So there's progress on it in that they're looking into what's needed. But as I mentioned at the last meeting, this recommendation will only ever be fully completed if and when the IT manager deems it necessary to put sufficient funds or to request sufficient funds for additional technology. I think Mr. Nicholl mentioned at the previous meeting some more detail about that. On the second one about schools IT and corporate IT, it is on separate networks as it stands at the moment. This recommendation was put in place in that at the time there was the consideration for the merger of the 2 services, which is currently undergoing consultation. So it would purely be to maintain the separation. It is separated at the moment, and that's why the school's IT network was largely protected from the cyber attack. So really it was just a recommendation to state that remains the case in order to provide additional security.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll ask the Chief Executive maybe to comment, and I see Mr. Nicholl's got his hand up online too, but it's Chief Executive first.
I think Mr. Gomez has really said it all. There's a consultation ongoing at the moment about the potential merger of schools and corporate IT, which would be the position across the rest of Scotland. But as has been said, that the networks are separate at the moment. They always have been, and I believe operationally they always would be. So that it's a merger of it. If that happens, it would be a merger of the sections and the management, etc., rather than the networks themselves.
Yeah, Mr. Nicholl, you're online.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add to Councillor Murray's first question with regards to funding for additional products. That's a continual process that, you know, changes almost on a monthly basis. You know, there's new products coming out there to help secure the network. We do have a monthly security review, myself and the infrastructure and security manager, where we look at new products. We have identified one currently, which I'm hoping can be put in place within our current budget without the need to require additional funding. But it is something that's under continual review.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholl. Ms. Gordon-Murray.
Can I ask one more question? It's about the cyber attack training. Just to wonder, as a follow-up, I think staff are going to get extra cyber security training. How is that going? And has there been quite a lot of uptake? Have we been quite successful?
Mr. Nicholl, I think that might be back to you again.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, so the information security training was updated and rolled out, I think it was the end of March. It's since then there has been a follow-up by myself, which is an email that goes out to all staff to remind them that they must go on and take the course. There will be a further follow-up by myself. We'll look at the figures on the uptake, and yeah, we'll send another reminder out. As far as getting every single employee to take the course, you know, I don't know how that process works, but it is important that every single employee that has access to council data takes this course.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholl. Councillor Murray, you happy now?
I think that there should be probably some sort of measurement in place to monitor engagement, because it is very important to assist Mr. Nicholl, so that
ask the Chief Executive
staff are fully trained.
Yes, it is important, and of course we do monitor take up. Hence the reminder. I think if that doesn't produce the required response, yes, we will look at more directive measures.
Thank you for that. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you. Members agreed to note the report. Yeah, thank you. Item 13 on the agenda is Eclipse. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on Eclipse, which was issued on 18 September 2024. The follow-up review was undertaken in accordance with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. And again, Mr. Gomez is available to speak to this report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yes, there was 2 recommendations, so one's complete, one's ongoing. We're happy with the progress. The only outstanding issue on the one that's still incomplete is just to develop an inappropriate usage log as shown in section 2. It's just a minor issue that just needs to be completed to fully implement that second recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Members agreed to note the report then. Thank you. Item 14 is medication management. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on medication management, which was issued on 4th October 2024. The follow-up review was undertaken in accordance again with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25, and Mr. Gomez will speak to this report and answer any questions. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, 4 recommendations all completed. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of work ongoing in this area, so we just thank the service for the continued work here.
Again, it's good to see it all greens. Yeah, it's good. Members? No. Okay. Members agreed to note the report. Okay. 15, street lighting. Again, a report by the Chief Internal Auditor provides an update on the findings of the original report on street lighting, which was issued on 2nd October 2024. Again, this follow-up review is undertaken in accordance with the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. And Mr. Gomez again going to speak to this report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, these were just 3 housekeeping issues at the time. They were low-level recommendations, all completed. Happy with the progress there.
Members agreed to note the report. Thank you. We now move into internal audit completed reviews. Item 16, non-domestic rates. Again, a report by the Chief Internal Auditor which has been prepared following an internal audit review of non-domestic rates, NDR, as part of the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. The purpose of the report is to provide an overview of the CONUS arrangements for the operational management of non-domestic rates. And again, Mr. Gomez, are able to speak to the report and answer any questions. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, section 1.3 has our concluding remarks with further detail on the recommendations in section 2. We just want to note that there has been, as it states there, a phenomenal amount of work undertaken by the team here, and there's still a relative amount to be undertaken before the system is fully back to the operational way it was before the cyber attack. Yeah, happy to take any questions on that.
Thank you, members. No, members agreed then to note the report. Thank you. Item 17, strategic procurement. Again, a report by the Chief Internal Auditor, which has been prepared following an internal audit review of strategic procurement, including revenue contracts as part of the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. The purpose of the report is to provide an overview of the CONUS arrangements for the operational management of strategic procurement, including revenue contracts. And Erica Geddes, I'm pleased to say, this time is available to speak to the report and answer any questions. Erica. This year. See you.
Based on the audit work carried out for strategic procurement, a reasonable level of assurance has been given. 4 recommendations were made, 1 high, 2 medium and 1 low. If I could draw your attention to the concluding remarks in section 1.3, the highest rated recommendation was for the re-implementation of the procurement steering group, either physically or virtually. The department have provided an update advising that membership of the procurement steering group is currently under review as a result of a number of members leaving the council. When they have been replaced, the intention is to resume the physical meetings. Work has been undertaken on the other recommendations. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Erica. Any questions for Erica? No? Okay. Members agree to note the report. Thank you. Item 18. Treasury Management. Again, this report by the Chief Internal Auditor has been prepared following an internal audit review of Treasury Management as part of the operational annual internal audit plan for 24-25. The purpose of the report is to provide an overview of the CONUS arrangements for the operational management of Treasury Management. And this is Mr. Gomez. This time is able to speak to the report and answer any questions. Mr. Gomez.
Thanks, Chair. Nothing really further to add. There was no recommendations. This was a good review, as it has been in previous reviews. Happy with the work that's been undertaken.
Thank you. Members agreed to note the report. Yeah, thank you. And finally, performance monitoring reports outstanding, and that's just for noting. There's quite a few there, so thank you. That's for noting. And thank you all. The next scheduled meeting of this committee will be on 19th of June 2025. I'd like to thank all the officers for preparing the reports and for your attendance today as well and for your contributions. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.